Hi, and welcome to the Stage 25 About the Language 2 review, in which we learn more about the imperfect and pluperfect subjunctive. So first off, the pluperfect subjunctive. In ATL 2 here, we're going to learn the persons of the pluperfect subjunctive that we didn't learn in the last stage. So in stage 24, we learned this form, porta wisset, and this form, porta wissent. Now we're adding in the first and second person forms, and it's really pretty easy. Remember, the pluperfect subjunctive is formed with the perfect stem from the third principal part, plus isse, plus the personal endings, those same mst, mus, tis, nt that you see like on the end of the imperfect indicative. Okay, so porta wissem, porta wisses, porta wisset, porta wissemus, porta wissetis, porta wissent. Notice that final M, T, and NT shorten that long E. Now the imperfect subjunctive, again, we're adding in the first and second person singular and plural. Take the second principal part with the final E lengthened and add the same exact personal endings. So portare, there's the second principal part, and we're going to add M, S, T, mus, tis, nt. So we end up with portarem, portares, portaret, portaremus, portaretis, portarent. And again, final M, T, and NT shorten that long E. Okay, remember, and we talked about this when we talked about the language 1, the pluperfect subjunctive indicates that the action in the subordinate clause takes place before the action in the main clause. So, here's a sentence for you. Cum equos pulcherimus emissem laetissima eram. So, I was very happy when I had bought the most beautiful horses. Emissem, pluperfect subjunctive. So the buying happens before the being happy. That's a cum clause. Here's an indirect question. Juvenis te rogavit quid invenisses. The young man asked you what you had found. Pluperfect subjunctive. The finding happens before the asking in the main clause. The imperfect subjunctive, again, indicates that the action in the subordinate clause takes place at the same time as or subsequent to the action in the main clause. So, cum in aula sederatus, servi vobis cibum vinumque obtulerunt. When you all were sitting in the palace, the slaves offered food and wine to you. Sederatus is imperfect subjunctive, so the sitting happens the same time as the offering. Cognoscere voluistis cor lacrimaremus. You all wanted to know why we were crying. Lacrimaremus is imperfect subjunctive, so the crying is happening at the same time as the wanting to know. So here's an example to take a look at. Custos me rogavit quis essem. What tense of the subjunctive is essem? That's imperfect subjunctive, so this is happening the same time as that main verb. Take a moment to translate it. Yeah, the guard asked me who I was. Custos explicavit quomodo Britanni effugissent. What tense is effugissent? It's pluperfect subjunctive, so it's happening before that main verb. So take a moment to translate. Yeah, the guard explained how the Brits had fled. Cum leones ferocissimi arenam intra licent, cervi perterriti cucarerunt. So here's the verb of the cum clause. What tense of the subjunctive is it? Yeah, that's pluperfect subjunctive. So this action is happening before the action in the main clause. So take a moment to translate. Yeah. When the very fierce lions had entered the arena, the terrified deer ran. One more. Nesciebam cor iliuvenes clamarent. What tense of the subjunctive is clamarent? Yeah, that's imperfect subjunctive, so it's happening the same time as nesciebant. Now take a moment to translate. I wasn't knowing why those youths were shouting. Okay, indirect question. Here's almost the same sentence, but what tense is the subjunctive here? That's pluperfect subjunctive, so it's happening before that main verb. So take a moment to translate. Yeah, I wasn't knowing why those youths had shouted.